All right, everyone, it is 9:30, so we're getting started. Can everyone on Zoom hear me okay? If you'll just pop in the chat if you're not able to hear. My name is Alana, I'm the Community Relations Manager for Knox County Grant and Community Development. So happy you're here with us this morning to make sure you're in the right place. This is our Defined Service Program application workshop for the upcoming fiscal year through fiscal year 2028. Couple of housekeeping bathrooms if you're here in person, it's in the back. Make sure you sign in first if you're here. This is clipboard just back here by the door. If you're on Zoom, if you don't mind to go to put in the chat your name and organization. And throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, you can pop those in the chat at any time as well. We'll address them at the end of each section of the presentation. I will email this presentation out again, so if I don't have your email address, make sure I do. We will also have this on the county's YouTube in a few days, so you can always reference it. Today's meeting will focus on our recent notification of funding for Knox County's Defined Service Program. The full notification of funding is posted on our website, so knoxcounty.org/community development. We'll start with some introductions of our department, who we are, and what we do, then go into the program overview, some key dates, and how to keep application on our neighborly list. And then round out with a few questions. We will pause throughout that question. So if it comes to your head, you don't have to wait until the end of this to do so. So Grant and Community Development, we are responsible for the administration and oversight of a variety of programs funded through local and state federal dollars. We have three divisions within our department: the Community Development Division, which focuses on affordable housing, improving infrastructure and economic growth. We actually have our division director back here, Jennifer Slavin. And then our Community Service Division focuses on improving the quality of life for residents through public service projects and programs. And this is what actually Defined Service falls under. That's Sharon Shanks, the third to the two directors. Sharon, do you want to say anything?
Welcome. I'm want to do a great job with the review. Lots of questions.
And then Hannah Hinkle back here, she is actually the grant program manager who oversees that program as well. So she is actually, if you are funded, I'm just before that part. And then our Public Safety Division oversees Knox County's Fire and Technical Rescue Program that administers the Tennessee District 2 Homeland Security Office and the Fire Prevention Bureau. Our Fire Marshal, Brian Fremont, right back here.
Mm-hmm. Roll the occupancy load.
So our mission as a department is to effectively utilize grant funding support programs committed to create opportunities for every resident of Knox County to thrive in an engaged and vibrant community. So we'll go into the Defined Service Program itself. So many of you may have received this funding in your past. So you is brand new to Knox County and especially this program. So this, what we'll talk about, really does outline in this notification of funding, which is on our website. But we're just going to go into an immediate opportunity to ask questions about it as well. So the purpose of the program is to address the needs of county residents and invest in opportunities that allow them to thrive in an engaged, vibrant community. When we're speaking of a defined service, we're referring to programs or services that are offered to residents that the county government would otherwise need to provide into programs and economic risks. This is funded through our general fund and hotel-motel tax fund. So if you have questions on who has been funded in the past, at what levels, if you look at any county budget that's been approved in the past, you can see a list of all the agencies that have been funded through that source. So the process of this, you will see it has to be a part of our county budget each year. So the program period, we are looking at July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. So it is a 3-year grant program. However, everything is done on a yearly basis. That's just because it has to be approved by the Knox County Commission in our year budget. So we'll start with initial contracts being for FY26 are coming up. And then you'll have the option to renew for 2 additional years each time. So you could say no, but we would hope you do want to continue. And so when you're looking at the application itself, you're requesting one amount. So each year, it's just $1 amount, and that's what you'll get every year. Instead of doing a 3-year budget, it's a 1 year. Questions I get a lot is how much funding is available. Is right now we don't know the exact number because we had our value budget. But to give you some reference, last year for this fiscal year 2025, we allocated about $1.8 million to spine service programs, specifically to nonprofits. And so we intend to fund multiple programs as we expect it to be around that amount. However, we won't know until the full budget is a draft is released. And so, like I said, you can go back to previous budgets and kind of see amounts. It's fine to tell you an amount if they're over 10,000 or a little more. So you can kind of see similar on topics. But there's no not certain views when you are asking. And then, like I said, that amount will be renewed each year if you are awarded. And note the county, while you may ask one amount, if we do find you, we may, it's not very likely we find a full act. So we try to just want to find as many as we can, but want to make it up. And so you know, as you prepare, if you are awarded funding through this is a reimbursement grant. So you put the money up front, you make the charges, and then you will pay back for anything that's eligible or approved in your budget. And that is also dependent on if you meet all the reporting requirements. Anyone who is funded through defined service will be required to report quarterly. You'll have set performance metrics, which should be included in your contract. So it will be based on what program you're applying for. And usually it's how many you served at quarter with this 5K. So, identify with defined service. If we do not allocate funds to your awarded agency in the fiscal year, or there's not enough funds in the budget, the contract would end at the end of the fiscal year or whenever. I'm telling you if it's extended within that fiscal year. So, who is eligible to apply? So, any organization that applies has to be located within and serving Knox County residents. So, this is local tax dollars that these counties spent within Knox County. All organizations must have a unique entity ID, UBI, and be registered within the federal system of awards management database, which is found at sam.gov. So, if you do not have a UBI, log on today, start the process. It takes 10 days to get one. If you had a DUNS number that has you can easily get your UTI because you are already in access and you have to go to UTI. If you have questions about that, please feel free. We can talk about that a little more. It's just an online form that just allow. This just helps you be set up for success for other grants. So not only with us, if you're in say.gov, you can apply for anything. And so if we ever do have federal funds that just say, oh, your agency might be great to be a part of this, you can easily slide into that, which is why we're trying to get all grantees that we're working with on that standard having the UDI. And then you also must be an incorporated nonprofit entity registered with the Tennessee Secretary of State and listed as active on that website. So make sure you file your last annual report with the Secretary of State for Tennessee. So you'll be asked to submit that with your application. So just make sure the dates, one takers, or others, you should be filing them mostly yearly. If you have questions about that, we can go into that as well. So what eligible programs? So these are not in any particular order. There's multiples are out, but they're not prioritized or anything. These are just the programs that are defined. Children in need service and community services, economic development, education services, health services, legal services, senior services, social services, tourism, travel, and/or hospitality industry promotion, veteran services, and workforce development. So within your application, choose what best applies to the program that you're submitting. And like I said, one's not favored over the other. So these are kind of standard ones that you know is a community. And of course, how can you spend your money? So any costs directly related to your program's operation. So you can tie it back to your program. It is most likely allowable. We do not fund indirect costs. So when you're looking at your budget and submitting it, make sure, I need $1,000 worth of pencils for children, right? Something like that. Make sure you can tie it back to whatever you are submitting with us. And salaries are performance person working for that purpose. Some key dates just to keep everyone on the same page. So today we're at the application workshop. The grant has been open for about a week. It's on January 15th, so you are able to get in there, look at it, start applying. I know we have quite a bit have already started. And then the final date is to submit is February 9th at 11:59 p.m. And if it's time, we're giving you the weekend. Our senior director is a firm believer in the weekend work. If you want to work on the weekend on this, you can do that. So Sunday, I will say, you're trying to contact us on a Sunday, but I don't think it's not reach us. So get your questions in for the Friday. So if you ask a question after it, I can make that it's still after the application upload. And the platform will lock this night. So if you're in there and it's on 59, you have to submit it all package. It's turned on. You have to make it back. So make sure you get it in for that deadline. And like I mentioned previously, July 1st is the shipping start date of the plan. So before we move on to the process of application, I want to have any questions.
I'm sort of the way because we're hospice center. Our funds, we've had experts into institute. Should we still have some funds shared? So, like in the entire should they ask for laws and our plans are used when sure. So if we still have some funds, we still want it's restaurants and open this cheaper. So it's right, but it's not this funding. It's not fund service funding. It's budget. Yes. So our program's been around for about 5 years. It's been under the umbrella of the university. And we just recently passed a program nonprofit. So we don't necessarily count the annual reporting yet because we've not been around for a year. So does that make us ineligible for the grant?
I would say on that upload, submit a letter on letterhead, start up with the director saying, should just have it back. Okay. So when it does come around, you could check. But it's like, here, that'll be
Regarding the reimbursement, is that quarterly?
quarterly. Yeah. So Defined Service works on a quarterly reimbursement schedule. So you can submit. So I think the quarter, so July up to September. It's October 15th. You would submit anything from July to September.
Without all the turtles, we're headquartered in Georgia. We are against here in Knox and jump. We don't have any workers. It's today's triple falling and short stuff, and that's work. That
You want to just, can you get the story?
yeah, it'll be good.
So with that,
Related question. If your headquarters is in Lexington, Middle Tennessee, active Knox program, is that okay to apply?
share and shake your head. Yes. Yes. So as long as you're very competitive and have right.
How many applications are on like? Even they write both programs. That was going to be my question. When I just think,
Well, you could do multiple. There's nothing. But would you prefer that if you like?
I was going to say for efficiency, sometimes we end up to have agencies apply and there's multiple components of the program within there. And we fund maybe a portion of the program based on eligible funds. So rather than separate applications, I would think of For instance, if there's enough, I know we capped the character.
There is no characters.
We got it.
Y'all have free brain. I know that you don't understand.
But I come back to my sir. I mean, I'm not big. We can be very specific within that. It makes sense. For budget item, I'm the hours.
I guess look at it, see what works for each one. If it makes sense to do it as a holistic, multi-part thing, you do that. If you want to do separate applications,
If we can make it work, should definitely be for sure.
on to that's where previous grant keeps again. So that's in the Knox County budget. And if you just Google Knox County budget, it's like really Knox County. And in your estimated usual funding amounts, can't give a great number on that because they're across the board and what the need is. So just looking at that budget, see some of our organizations would probably be the best you can do. There's all the things that you can consider part of the programming. So that's listed in the notification of funding. And just read them off again. Things we're looking at is children and youth services, community services, economic development, education services, health services, legal services, senior services, social services, tourism, travel, and/or hospitality industry promotion, veteran services, and workforce development. All right, questions?
Well, does the county anticipate also having another grant round through the year for CG funding?
That is to
Okay, so there'll be a separate announcement about that.
we'll hear from me forward.
Yep. And that'll still be on an annual basis, not a multi. Yes.
What about question?
Yes. So years 2 and 3, so many decreases for the county. Is it like an across the board for all the agencies, or you just make it selected my agencies?
That would be so. It's a great question. Don't have to be historically. I don't know that that's ever really been an issue because those renewals. We kind of speak openly about what those annual applications are, and we prepare that concept for that. I don't know that we've ever had major adjustments, and there's not some of us in the room that have been here historically to see that. But that would kind of go across the board in how we could divide that. It may be based on kind of spending because that money does not carry over to year 2 or to year 3. So if agencies have struggles to kind of spin down, we may start with those where we can make some adjustments. But I don't know that we're not station today, but I don't know that we historically have ever had to decrease. But I think we like to be open and upfront about that on the front end just in case. But we have a hard year and it's going to be adjusted. But that's a great question. Yes.
For your eligible programs under health services, are you talking direct health services or there's ancillary programs that support health services, such as Breast Connect, my organization that supports women who have breast cancer? So, would that fall under?
Yes, it's a very broad category. That I wanted to make. We didn't want to get too legally tough.
Right.
Like, so we made them very broad. So yeah, anything, you're going to explore.
Okay.
Great. And then we had a question about budget. So anything you can tie back to your programs could be an allowable cost. We'll go into a little later the options you can choose your application process. Okay, we're going to continue on. So the application process itself. So accessing the application, we have transitioned to all online. We have released software portal. So if you're like me, applied for defined services in the past, you have procurement, you have timestamp, we're not doing that. We are now all online, and you can access the website through our homepage on Knox County's website, or here's the direct link on there as well. It's on our notification of funding. If you are a current grantee, you already are set up on that. So you don't have to talk with one page. You'll just log in with your current credentials. If you need to add people, you can do that as well. And then anyone who is new will just have to sign up for the platform. And you can do that. Here's what the homepage looks like. And then right at the top, it says sign up now. This has changed slightly in the past few weeks. So you just click on sign up now, go through the process, check your spam folder. Sometimes it does go there once you're finished. And then once you're set up on that, you're good to go. It'll show up like on your homepage, just like this. So this is already popped up. You would press start application. And every time you press start application, you start a whole new application. So it'll have start application, but then once you refresh the page, you come back, it'll be up on the top. Sure.
Ask the question.
Yeah, your guess.
Worst. Because from this last year, the theater replaced stomachs her name up there. So how do I get all of that changed?
Jen back here can help you with that. Just kidding.
Okay.
We can get there without. So once you log in, this is what the application homepage will look like. Everything has a section. On the left side, you'll see you could access your users. You could print the applications. Just know when you do print it, we had a lot of questions that are ranging. So you answer yes to something, to follow a question might come up. That does not show up on the printed application. So if you do that, it may just pop up when you're actually applying. And then on the user section, you can add people and type any time neighborly. So you want to collaborate, you can do that there. A key thing to know when working in Neighborly, you have to submit each section in order to fully submit your application. So at the bottom of each page is this taskbar, which has save and complete and continue. If you're working on your application, you're not ready to do that from the section, just press save. That way you can come back to it. If you press complete and continue, it locks. It's submitted into the system. So you'll have to call us to unlock it for you if you have to get back into it. So don't press that blue button until you're ready. And then make sure you do press that blue button when you're ready. Otherwise, you can't do the final submit page. And as you move through the application, a blue check mark will appear next to each section as you fully complete. And so the sections, we have program overview, agency information, organizational capacity experience, progress description, performance metrics, funding requests, documents, and then the final submit page. Your required documents may pop up within each section. And so when you upload it there and they ask you to do that, it'll show up in your documents page as they upload it. So you don't have to do anything twice. And then I'm going to go into a little more on each of these three highlighted sections, just to give you a little more information on that. So on the application program overview, so this is just about client services. It tells you a little bit more about the requirements, the accessing the notification button. We've also made you a helpful history to give you some tips throughout it. If you have any questions beyond those, please do reach out. And then there's a checkbox at the bottom. You do have to check that and press complete to be able to submit your application. And that just says you have read the whole notification button, you understand what the source of funding is, and that you meet the requirements. Section D is performance metrics. When you're looking at this, I just want to go over a few questions on there. So D1 is to provide the projected number of individuals in your programs you will serve through each fiscal year. So this is just how many you intend to serve with Power, not your whole program. So you put the whole program, you're like, I'm just going to serve 10,000 people. And you're reporting again, we're going to have the questions. So just put who you all serve in Knox County money. We can also, you'll be able to say your program narratives. As a whole, we serve this many people, but utilizing this amount of funding, we're actually, of course.
And so that would be, let's say your program, the same program is serving city residents and county residents. It would be only people living in the county, correct? not people with
Taking our studies. I'm gonna go to that.
that. So only in the county, but there's if somebody is considered homeless, even if they're living in the county in a transitional housing or it's the city, they would still count, correct?
So this functions a little different than CD.
Okay, that's my
But yeah,
clarification.
yeah, yeah. So anyone you're serving to the Knox County,
Okay,
and be realistic.
but the county exclusive, not the city, correct? They can't live in the city, even though they're county and the city. They have to live in the county codes.
I think that still applies to our lines understanding.
That they can live. Yeah, because that's like when you're counting that number. It's sure.
It's only her. It is.
It is not okay. So all the guys have not in the city driver.
Did you?
They get within the city limits. Okay.
But just this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just be realistic.
Sure.
Well, we're glad you're served 1,000.
Yeah.
That's one point. Don't feel like you have to like. We'll start that. And then we're asking for specific and measurable goals. So provide us goals tied back to those people who are paid. Will they have increased literacy? Will they, increase health stats, things like that, and the outcomes, of those programs. That's a two-part question. 2B is the outcomes associated with those. And that D3 is actually how you measure success of your program. So let us know if you're doing pre and post surveys, tests, things like that. You're comparing data from their start till how they are the next year, stuff like that. So it helps kind of understand what we're looking for. We're looking for goals and outcomes that tie directly back to your proposed program that you're listing in your program description. So your goals are specific, measurable, and represent the results of your program attributes. So what are you going to get within that 3 years of funding or 1 year of funding? And then when we're talking outcomes, that's a little more long term. What is their sustained benefit from this program? So that's an example here. The goal would be to increase literacy rate of children in our program by 20% within 1 year. And then by being that, improving the comprehension score standardized tests for the rest of the school program. And so when we're looking at measuring, how you're measuring that, let us know, and we can to get a good picture of what y'all are doing. And then section E is the funding request. This one is probably what's after that page. So on D1, you're going to put in your amount you're requesting for that month. That is the amount you'll get reviewed for our year. And then number 2, explain the purpose of the funds requested. How are they supporting your program? What's the benefit there's adding to what you're doing? And then in E3, you're putting in your detailed budget requests by line item. You'll be able to select the cost type and how much you're requesting. And then we're asking the description of it. So if you're asking for salary needs at $5,000, that it's for program manager who's making $5 an hour and it's going to like this. So you can be pretty descriptive. You want a description. And we'll go into some examples of what you can add in there. And then when you're adding in your table items, they'll keep a running total. So make sure that amount that's on your table matches each. If that'll make sure it's a proper budget. And we will look at because we're going to take whatever's in the budget as what you listed other than. So make sure they match if you want. Make sure your request is correct. So examples of the budget request line items, things you can add in there, any equipment. So that's anything that costs $5,000 plus. Insurance directly related to the program, personnel costs and your salaries, your benefits, any professional fees or services, rent and utilities, supplies, training and development of staff, travel and mileage, and then marketing communications costs. That's an example of things you can ask
There is an other option, and you do put that, just make sure we set up. And then the required document section, we have a list of documents that you will be required to upload, the articles of incorporation, bylaws for your agency, the conflict of interest disclosure, which will be downloaded from your application. We'll talk about that on this next slide. Current list of board directors with their chart dates. Make sure you put that as well. Your current IRS 990 or most recent audited financial statement if you don't do a 990. Organizational chart, your proof of 501c3 nonprofit status, your most recent Tennessee State Annual Report, Title VI agency certification, which you'll download neighborly, find, re-upload, salary information for the CEO and the next highest paid employee. Sorry. And that's because it's not Skype work. You have to request that. And then a screenshot of your active SAM.gov registration for your UEI. You're going to enter it. Then we want to see a screenshot of that on our SAM.gov. And that's to help us. You have to go in and type in screen authors and search for it. So those two documents I mentioned, the disclosure of potential conflict of interest. So this has to be completed by your entire board, your CEO, executive director, and then other leadership program staff that are part of the program. So make sure you get on that and upload that. They are required to be fully, all of them uploaded for your application to be considered. Yeah, questions about that, please let me know. You can do electronic signatures. You can send them out like a via Office data. That's fine. And then Title VI agency certification, you'll download that as well. And then your CTO, executive director, you'll just sign that. That's just their fire that you are trading staff on a highest. But yeah.
Yep. So we are an affiliate of a larger nonprofit. So everybody here in Knoxville is volunteer based. What I need to think of these salaries of the CEO of the national.
Yeah. But it was repeating and have messaged the folks on.
Oh,
The
yes.
original question that they yours.
Yeah, so the question was if you're part of a national organization, but your affiliate here at Knoxtown is just volunteer based, do you have to include the salaries of the national CEO?
The answer is yes. But there's some food questions next. Yes.
If our organization has a conflict of interest document that the board has already signed, can we find this?
Okay. Please sign up.
Okay. So the question was just trying. You have your own conflict of interest. Can you use that? The answer is no. You can use that.
Okay. Are some software expenses allowable?
Yes. Software. The question was: are software expenses allowable? Women should. I search it.
Well, would you say a word about the reporting requires reimbursement? There's some expenses that are easier to show and validate, correct?
Yes.
Some things get more complicated in the reimbursement side.
The defined service might be a little different than what you're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any need to think about that?
You'll still need backup documentation for the charges, but for for backup for the reporting, are you used to
Correct.
income
I mean,
summary?
obviously, there's some things that are easier to have back, like salaries. It's a pay stub, right? We got things that get more complicated.
Yeah,
Versions.
historically was not required backup documentation for the reporting signed up to any user, just for the information.
I would go.
Yes, that you would dash, you would recommend not charge. Great. Thanks.
So when you're thinking about your costs, can you prove that you paid that cost? The salaries, pay stubs, time sheets, those are the standard things like supplies, receipts. And what I was a nonprofit, I was in the receipt on cost like this, say what it was for. So make sure you're keeping up with I spent this much money and this is how I progressed.
programs. Each new ones will speak to success of your past programs to show you success.
Wait, sorry. I went to the neighboring software, but I don't see what you showed me. And I may need help for the technical issues. Who do I need for that?
Either me or Jen can help you. Yes. And then one question to the Zoom people that we just had a community lead apply for a new program. This additional documents that can include our impact reports, brochures, client satisfaction surveys, any letters of support, shipping you pictures. We love to see what y'all do. And then if you have any news articles highlight the program, we do look at that stuff to see just a little more evidence of the program or requesting funding or. And then lastly, the submit page. This is an often forgotten page, so you do have to actually press submit on submit to submit your application. So there's going to be checkbox and then electronic signature. Whoever is submitting the application can sign that. The changes have to be the CEO of our chain. So you click that, do the electronic signature, and press complete and submit. You can't press that unless you got every other section. So it will tell you. And just a reminder, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, February 25th. Does anyone have any questions about moving through the application sections before we get on to some tips? One of the questions on Zoom is, would direct services fall under other in the budget? For instance, for mental health services, the cost of counseling appointment, should that be? Yes, you can put that. You just put that on the description, exactly what it's for. If you have lots of attachments, you can do a zip file. If it's too big to upload, just zip the file and we can download it on our end. Then it was asked, or sometimes threads partially funded, if not fully funded. Yes, we do partial funding. Quite good. Keep on doing. So just some tips that we have gathered for you to help you with your application. So read the full notification of notification of funding opportunity. Understand the purpose of this grant and the requirements. Make sure you are registered with SAM.gov for that UEI. It does take 10 days. So to get started now, we should get it for the week before it's due. And then make sure you're active with the Tennessee Secretary of State, and then complete your application to the full extent. So something doesn't apply to you, go ahead and emanate on that. That makes it, that helps us know, if it just doesn't apply to them, or question. So, and it also set those realistic goals. Make sure it's attainable for your agency, economy, helpful. So we want to make sure we're making your contract, we build it off your application. So we don't want to put huge lofty goals and then you're shut down. So be realistic and paint the detailed picture. So write about this that could be like someone who knows something about your organization, and it's most likely be right back by some I absolutely got your organization. And then in the budget request, we'll ask you about leverage funds. So don't be afraid to share, what other funding is supporting your programs. We do want to know you have other support. It's not just solely Red Line on Knox County. And then we also ask what will happen if you have lower funding from us. Be truthful. We want to know the impact of that reduction in your acts if you don't hold your full request. And it doesn't hurt at all. Reach.
Save all your progress as you're moving through the application. If you exit out and don't hit save, it's all. So I just hit that and click like it. So, and then press complete. Hey, only when you're done with that page. Complete and upload all your required documents. Make sure they are up to date. We do check them. So if you're submitting something for the 1999, just use my fault. So much. And then ask questions. I'm here throughout the entire process. I will answer your call. If I don't answer it, I'll as quickly as I can. You can send emails. If I don't have the answer, I'll find it. If it's something you can't answer, I know something I can answer. So we want to be helpful. So don't be afraid to ask shit. And to let you know the selection process. So once you submit on the 9th, it'll go through the screening. We'll make sure you are eligible to apply and that you've completed all the documents. Once that is verified, it'll then go on to review. You'll have a curated panel reviewing these applications. So they will take time to read your application, score it based on a rubric, which you can find the rubric in the application. So we provide you with that so you know what we're looking for. And then once those are reviewed and scored, our team will consider those rankings along with different factors, the future grants, and then to program into the community, and then make final funding decisions, which will then go up to the mayor. The mayor then decides. And then after his decisions, it'll then go to county commission. So it'll be written into the Knox County budget. All this either during budget process. And they got one verbal application, just do a part of it. So no, that we have to and read the rubric. If there are questions about it, let us know.
Are we invited for the panel review?
No.
No.
No, no pitches. That kind of really big deal. And just a reminder, at least A's, does anyone have any questions? I know we've been asking them throughout, but what would be the state of the decision? I can't hear that. Oh. We do, and near you that it's ready by budget season. So we anticipate end of March. I think the home. That's your question.
I'll enter it on.
Definitely. Receiving the question of notification dates, and that could be potentially early. And let's see that.
But it'll be before July 1st.
They'll tell you before July. The question was, if you're headquartered in Oak Ridge, but you're serving Knox County, would your organization be eligible to provide if you're not physically located in Knox? As long as you have the seconds here at Knox County serving, you should be good at fine, right? Yeah. Recording will be sent, or won't be sent out, but it'll be posted on YouTube. So check YouTube and if you question. All right. Well, this is my contact information. If you think of something, you're out the process, you can reach out to me. This phone number is directly to me. So and I'll get back to you right away. I will get your questions for February 7th. Probably want to see it on the weekend. And then once you do submit, and once the application window closes, we cannot really talk about the application until the staff did our. All right. Well, I will give you 15 minutes lunch. And then we all have a good rest of the day. We know we take.
Bridget,
For sure.